Welcome all, it's Russ, and today I'm going to show you Total Annihilation, which is my favorite RTS ever. I thought originally that I might do a playthrough on this, but then when I got thinking about it, I thought this isn't something that really fits with a playthrough. And so I thought I might do something that was more along the lines of a review or a discussion of why this is such a favorite for me. Um, the TA came out in the late 90s in the heyday of RTSs. And so when you're running here, the graphics are not going to be something that's going to be particularly astonishing. I'm running a copy here that I got off Good Old Games. And it runs well enough on Windows 10 here, but it does struggle a little bit because it's a very old game. It was originally designed for the Windows 95 interface. So what's great about TA? Well, TA is kind of, I guess it hits the same sort of button for me as does Factorio. There are so many RTSs that have been RTSs that are about clicking as fast as you can to go do things instead of things that allow you to set up systems. And I love Factorio because Factorio is all about automation. And in a lot of ways, that's what TA is about. And you can see some of that happening here. As I've been playing the beginning of the game here, I've set up, this is a KBot lab, this is a vehicle plant over here on the right. For both of these, what you can do is you can assign orders to the units, and then when a new unit is built, they will automatically perform that order. So if I hold down Shift, you can see, it's a little hard to see when it's in the gray part of the map, but what this is this construction KBot is operating on a patrol. And so it will just circle around looking for things to do. Several things it might do. It might build, they never, on patrol, they never start a building by themselves. But if someone else is building something, a construction KBot will help out to get it done. So you see there was this construction vehicle started this plant, and now two other constructors have automatically joined in. They will also repair units that are damaged, units and buildings both. And they will also, it's hard to talk and play at the same time. They will also reclaim things. So there are two different key resources. You can see up here, metal and energy. Both of these are endless resources. So unlike, there have been a few RTSs in history where the total supply of a given resource was limited. That's not true in TA. However, what you do have is that there are a limited number of places where you can get metal. And so what you will discover, except on special maps that are built on metal planets, is that you will find that it's quite difficult to find enough metal to keep your economy running at full speed. I mean, you can go out and, I mean, since you have an infinite amount of the metal, you can always wait to get more metal off of the map. But of course, that means if you don't have enough metal mines working, then things are going to be going pretty slow for you, and that's going to hurt you overall. You'll also see here is I've created all these little blue squares. What are these blue squares? Well, I've assigned orders to some of these units so that they will go ahead and build other things. Now, they're also on patrol. So what I've done, the way I've set this up, is that all my construction units are continually on patrol. But if I give them a new order that adds to the queue by hitting Shift, then what happens is, instead of them abandoning their patrol, what the units will do is that um, they will continue what they're doing. They will then build the thing that you've asked them to build, and then after they're done building, they will return to their original patrol. So we've got here, we're setting up anti-air um, anti-air missile towers there. I'm also going to be setting up some laser towers and some heavy artillery. One of the things that's also distinctive about TA that I really enjoy, because it really causes you to focus on the system, is that TA does have rather strong base defenses. So probably if you were doing a competitive map and you were trying to say, okay, what's the absolute optimal way to get, the absolute best performance out of your system, if we're honest, probably what you'd say is the best way is to just rush a whole bunch of units like you've seen with so many other things before. However, you can, and it's really fun to do this, you can build up a substantial base with a substantial amount of defenses that will not, it doesn't make you perfectly invulnerable, it doesn't make you perfectly safe, but it does really help you to survive most attacks. Another thing that TA has that's very cool is it has dragon's teeth. And so if you're looking to really seal up an area, you can actually create these dragon's teeth, and I'm putting it on the queue, so it'll take a little while before it gets built there, but dragon's teeth are a cool little innovation. They're basically small walls, and so you can't go through them. Certain types of units, in fact, most units can shoot over them. However, they do prevent the enemy from coming through. They have, they're basically little lumps of metal, and so while they're fairly cheap to construct, they actually have quite a bit of toughness, and so it takes quite a while for someone to shoot their way through it. And so, against a human, I suspect that Dragon's Teeth would probably not be all that effective, but against the AI, they're just wonderful. You can really force the AI into choke points, force them to go to places where they're facing against your strongest defenses. Now, you see, I've been gradually exploring here. Well, I should tell you a little bit more about the build pattern here. The various constructors of TA. This is your commander. Now, the commander is awesome. This is the unit you often start with. On some maps, it's the only unit you have when you begin. The commander is able to build all of the low-level structures. It actually has one of the fastest build tools, the nano lathe, of any one of the constructors. But it can only build basic things. The other thing that's really, really noteworthy, well, there's two things noteworthy about the commander. First of all, it is one of the most heavily armored units in the entire game. So you can, in the very early game, you can use it as a bit of a tank. Now, it's not strong enough that it can actually last forever and endure against an unlimited amount of fire from other units. But it is quite powerful for a while. The other thing that it has, which it just rocks, is the D-gun. Now, the D-gun is a weapon which is an insta-kill weapon against everything except the most crazy top-tier units in the game. And so you put those two together, and the commander can be a really crazy offensive unit. send him against the heaviest concentrations of the enemy and just watch him blow everybody to smithereens. However, if you use him foolishly, he will eventually get destroyed himself. And normally, what happens is, you can change this in the settings, but typically, what happens is if you lose your commander, you actually insta-lose the game, because the commander is also sort of your avatar in the game itself. All right, I was going to show you the dragon's teeth. That's little dragon's teeth. You could build a whole wall of them if you'd like. All right, so the commander builds the basic units. There are 4 basic factories that the commander can build. He can build a K-bot lab. K-bots are little anthropomorphic units. He can build the vehicle plant. He can build the aircraft plant, and he can build the shipyard. We don't have enough water here that I think a shipyard is going to be justified. Normally, I would be building an aircraft plant already, because the aircraft in TA are pretty amazing. But for some reason, I'm not quite certain why I went down this road. I haven't done that. All right, so we might come back to it later. We'll see. You'll see that I'm assigning a whole bunch of units to hotkey 3. So that I can move them as a group. Now, you'll also notice, I knew that this was an interesting map, but I'd forgotten the details of this skirmish map. If you go look at the actual map that I'm tracing out here, you'll realize that we've got water all through here. This entire place, actually, is surrounded by water. Meaning that the fact that I built a whole bunch of land units is going to be kind of useless. However, if they eventually come across with amphibious units, these will be useful. Alright, so let's, now that I've discovered that I did a silly mistake, let's go and actually see what we can do about fixing it. So I was telling you that the commander builds the basic construction factories. The basic construction factories, like the K-bot lab here, will build the construction K-bot, but then also build a variety of low-level units. This one over here that I've built is the Peewee. It's a rather famous, it's very light, but in packs, the Peewees are very, very powerful against a variety of different other units. There's other ones. There's a rocket K-bot. This will shoot line-of-sight rockets that are long-range, moderately powerful. An artillery K-bot has the ability to shoot over hills and obstacles to hit things at a distance, but rather slow-moving and slow-firing. And there's an anti-air K-bot as well. One of the things you'll discover with TA is that they tend to have, they don't have a lot of very distinctive units. The units have plenty of character. They've got great names, great animations. They all look noteworthy. But what you'll find is that there's not a lot of unique units. So you'll notice we had an anti-air K-bot. There's also an anti-air vehicle. There's also, an anti-air vehicle. There's an anti-air ship. And then, of course, there's fighter aircraft to deal with anti-air from the air. So what you'll find is that there's a lot of overlapping capabilities. It does mean that you don't find yourself locked into, trapped in without capabilities often. It does give you some flexibility, but it does remove a little bit of the complexity or the, how interesting things might be, I think. All of the basic construction K-bots each then have the ability to build a more advanced version. So we have the ordinary vehicle plant, which is built by the commander. The advanced vehicle plant can only be built by a construction vehicle. It can't be built by any other constructor. But the advanced construction plant then has many different units here that are very, very valuable. So for instance, we have the Croc. Oh, I'm sorry, this is the Triton. It's the Croc when you play the other faction. The Merle too. All sorts of nice stuff. But I'm going to get the Croc. Now the Croc is interesting because it's an amphibious tank. So now I can use it to cross the river. The advanced construction labs will also build advanced construction bots. So I built just a small number here of the advanced construction K-bots. And so what I'm good at, the advanced construction K-bots build the next layer of buildings. So you'll notice like the commander and the basic construction units can all build radar. So I'm queuing up some radar over here. But they cannot build the advanced radar. And the advanced radar ooh, the Pelican. I'm going to have fun with that. Um, the advanced construction units can build some really, really high-end, really high-end buildings. So, for instance, we can build the Moho metal mine. Now, the Moho metal mine is a much more advanced version of the ordinary mine. Produces several times what the ordinary mine would do. Other things that it can build fusion reactors. Very, very powerful. This is how you're going to power all of your top tier weapons. It can build the advanced radar. Oh, don't want to forget that. Let's put up a couple of those. Advanced radar is longer range, of course. It can also build nuke silos, nuke defense. This here is an air repair pad that will automatically repair your aircraft. A number of extra powerful turrets. We'll talk about the metal makers later. This is a fortification wall. This is basically Dragon's Teeth, but it's much tougher and much taller. And so it will block most weapon fire and will last against a lot more assault. All right, I'm going to make this. I'm going to switch that to be Group 4. You can notice here that in addition to assigning individual units to groups, you can also in addition to assigning individual units to groups, you can assign factories to groups. And if you do that, then whenever they build something, it's auto-assigned to the proper group. So what I've got here is that Group 3 is all of the ground defense units. They're not going to get across the river. And Group 4 is going to be all of the amphibious units. I'm building a couple of different amphibious units here. Oh, we got a little mix-up here. One of the things that's a little weak about TA, although they have some fairly nice grouping mechanisms, with a little bit more design time, I think they could have made the grouping mechanisms a little bit more elegant. Right now, you find yourself really struggling sometimes when you're trying to reassign groups, because very often it's a little. If you're not careful, you'll accidentally drop the factories out of the group and such. Without a detailed explanation of how the interface works, I'm not going to be able to go deeper than that. All right, so basically what's going on in my base is I've got a fairly decent economy. I'm gradually using the advanced construction K-bot here to upgrade my metal mines into Moho metal mines. We've got plenty of energy so far, although that's going to change pretty soon. We've got a advanced construction K-bot building. Enemy aircraft. All right. I didn't get a chance to see them much. I am running at. I've got the speed cranked way up. So when it comes time to do combat, I'll slow the speed down so that we can see a little bit better what's happening. Another thing that I'd love to see in TA that they don't have is I'd love to see a repeat order that just says continually build this same unit. They don't have it. Alright, so what do I have here? These are my amphibious units that I've been preparing. I've got a couple of different ones. This is the Triton, which is a tank, and it drives along the bottom of the water. That means that it's completely vulnerable to ships, submarines, torpedoes, things like that, but doesn't take any fire from the air or from ordinary surface units while it's doing it. This is the Pelican, which is a amphibious K-bot. Now, what the Pelican will do is the Pelican's a relatively weak but high-speed unit that will skate right across the water like so. And so we can cross the river here. Let's send the Tritons across. Oh, looks like the southern border, the southern island is probably where the enemy is. Alright, let's slow down here. Slow our combat down. Now this looks like a relatively small, maybe just the outside of their base? I don't know, we'll find out. Whoa! That's their commander? Oh, wow. Well, let's see if I can get their commander. I don't think there's any way I can rush the commander this early, but we'll give it a shot. One of the things you'll see here is we're finally starting combat. Is that TA is a little bit renowned for its really excellent music here, and it does try to dynamically adjust your music based on your current situation. So it's been very quiet, not at all notable so far, but now that I've entered combat, it automatically switches to more aggressive tracks. There's some really famous, really wonderful pieces in here. Now I know I'm going against the CPU, and I'm also going on easy mode because I didn't really want to deal with too much. Just wanted to show you how the game worked. So I'm having a fair bit of success against their base here, but we'll... Alright. Let's have all of these go over here. Looks like... Alright, I'd like to get more Pelicans more rapidly. So let's take my commander. In addition to the other things that you can do automatically with systems, we can have people set on patrol, but you can also have construction units that will guard, well, in fact, you can have any unit guard another. Guard in the simplest sense means just follow it along and try to protect it. But if a construction unit guards something, then it will auto repair it, and if available, it will aid in construction. So I was going to have it guard the factory, but what I'm noticing is that I'm short on both metal and energy. And so what I'm going to do here is I've set my commander up to help build this fusion plant. And once the fusion plant is built, then I will get to work on upgrading more Moho mines. Eventually, once you've got enough metal, then you can have the commander and some of your construction units actually aid in the production of these factories. and they will, of course, then uh, and the factories will build more quickly if there's someone that's helping them build. Let's see, where are we here? We're really starting to run short of energy. I do want that fusion plant, but I think I might need some solar temporarily just to get it done first. All right, we'll see what we can do here. Yeah, we're almost entirely out of energy. If you get to the point where you're actually at 0 energy, then that hurts your metal as well, because it will cause you to have your metal mine shut down temporarily. So you do want to avoid that if at all possible. All right, I built a whole bunch of junk that, you know, if they ever come across, it'll be good defense, but until then it's a little bit useless. All right, let's kick the speed up here again. I think we may need to build a whole bunch of these. One of the things I did while I was talking here is I gave all the construction units the order to go over there and aid the production of that fusion plant. They won't all be able to reach it, but they will all give it a shot. The ones that can't actually get there will eventually give up and go back to their ordinary orders. But we will get a huge amount of support on producing that fusion plant. That should make it a lot faster. I think I might also have fun here. I think I will build some Berthas. I'm gonna build... Alright, the error, what's going on is that they're griping because they're trying to get to the fusion plant, but they can't reach it. But they should eventually give up and stop bothering us about that. Alright. I really want to see those Berthas. That would be a fun thing to see here. Alright, come on, finish up. Fusion plant's almost online. I think we can cancel that construction. Let's go over here and we'll help out with the Moho mine. Alright, so the fusion plant is online. And now it says waiting for the target area to clear. It was waiting to build in this new location. Now you'll notice that most of the construction bots were going away, but one of them, or some of them, actually stayed and helped out with the next one. Basically, the way the logic of that works is that they were returning to their patrol orders, but if they were close enough when the second fusion plant started construction, then they will automatically join in on that, because that's kind of the work of the day. All right. And I think it might be useful to see the enemy base. As I said, I normally am very, very heavy on using aircraft. For whatever reason, I've decided I don't think that's interesting today. I gotta pause and plug in here. So I think that playing with aircraft is one of the most fun ways to play the game, but I don't know if it's the most interesting and compelling way to show the game to someone else. Alright, so now I'm hitting unable to create any more units. Alright, so there is a unit limit. Unlike in some RTSs, this unit limit is not, you know, you don't build barracks or something. It's just a hard unit limit. If we look down here at the bottom, you'll see unit limit is 250. You can, with a config file, change that to a different amount. So I just self-destructed 71 peewees, so I've got more unit space. You can change that up to, I think 500 is the upper bound. so that you can have access to more units eventually. Alright, let's reclaim that, and we'll get started on the next Moho mine. I think I'm going to send, since they were bothering me, I'm going to bother them. I'm going to send my amphibious units across, and we'll do a little raid. Let's see what it was that was shooting at me. That was a construction aircraft. There's their, oh, construction hovercraft. Ooh. So I haven't shown you hovercraft. Hovercraft are basically vehicles that have the ability to skate over the water. It's like an entire class of vehicles that by definition is... oh! I just got him. I just destroyed the enemy commander. Well, I'd been wanting to show you Berthas, but anyway, what I will tell you is that if you play TA, you'll get to experience aircraft that I've not shown you, hovercraft, all sorts of ships, which are very nice. If you have water maps, you can have a quite substantial navy with a variety of different units. You'll get to explore something called the Merle, one of my favorite ground units that I didn't show you here. As I mentioned, the Bertha is a very long-range artillery piece. Very, very powerful, very, very expensive to build. I very often find it fun to just pork up and I'm gonna build base defenses and fusion reactors, and then I'll build Berthas. And then I just pound the enemy with Berthas. And then when I get bored of that, I build the Buzzsaw, which is rapid fire Berthas. And it's an amazing thing to see. Anyway, that's TA. That's the basic introduction of what it is and why I love it. Hope you found this video interesting and engaging. And I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.